that crept down the block. All right. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey,
Alsto, right? Is that your name, Alsto?
Alston.
Hey, Austin. What's going on, man?
Yeah. Oh, just kind of trying to get ready for Christmas mainly. I'm, but first time I'm able to get into one of these calls, and I was looking forward to it. I watched some of the videos,
Mm-hmm.
but this is I just came through my busy season, and this is the first time I could attend. How's everything with you?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for asking. Awesome. So I'm glad that you were able to make it to this call. Let's see. So you said you watched the past videos. What are
Yeah, I watched at least two of them.
okay?
How many have you done?
Uh, three. I've posted three videos.
Okay,
I've done
okay,
four of these calls, but I messed up one of the recordings.
okay, okay.
Yeah. But I mean, tell me, like, what do you like about them? What do you hate about them? What are the highlights? What are some of the lowlights? Like, are you getting things out of them?
Well, like I said, this has been my busy season the last 3 months. It's kind of like tax season for tax preparer because so I work literally around the clock for about 3 months straight. So I really haven't had a chance to sit down and fully digest them. But I just I like I'm trying to pick up on your thought process and everybody's thought process and how you, how you examine and break down copy. So far, I've only written copy for myself. It's mostly been content really, and it's working for me. But I just really want to immerse myself in it and want to get good at it, and you know, um, it just so far I like writing, and it's just really cool to be able to make money with just words.
Right.
I
Yeah.
just think that's it really. Yeah, my dad was a journalist, so I've romanticized writing since before I knew the alphabet. I was like, I thought the typewriter was something magical. Back then he had like a real typewriter. This is going back to the '60s. So yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So I'm glad to hear. So it sounds like you're trying to maybe learn more sales-oriented writing, or no?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
And so this piece that you posted the other day, um, is that typical of the length of the sales letters you work on?
no, this one that I
Right.
posted is really long, super long. I mean, most letters that you come across are like no fewer than 20 pages. I want to say
Okay.
that's like
Okay.
most sales letter will be like 20 pages. Uh,
Hmm.
in my space specifically, a financial newsletter will be like closer to 60, 70 pages. This
Okay.
guy, this sales letter I posted this earlier,
Hmm.
like over 100 pages. Like that's
Yeah.
that's freaking extreme, man. To be
Yeah.
honest, you can read the whole thing. But I read like I did like a sandwich thing, right? So I started reading at the bottom to get an idea of what the offer was, and then I
Hmm.
read and like we'll just talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So have you've never written a sales letter before? Is that true or false?
Um, I've written some short sales letters. So I do. I would consider all the ads I put on Facebook, and I've written quite a few of those as being copy, and then I've done some direct mail sales letters that I would say are promising, but I spent so much of my time focusing on my online sales funnel that I really, even though I got promising results with the tests, I didn't have time to do or money to continue doing the direct mail tests. But virtually everything else has been like 95% content, and then I have a CTA in the PS. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so you have like a general idea of the structure of a sales letter and like how it's supposed to go.
I have a fuzzy idea.
An
Yeah.
idea, an idea. So here we go.
Well, like, okay, so I look at it like the anatomy of a sales call. So, you want to warm up people, because I'm a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you walk into someone's house, and the most important thing is to get rapport with the client. Okay. So there's things you do with your body language. There's things you do with the words that you use to match their words. You might compliment them about something that, like I was trained to look around the house and see anything that shows us an interest, a special interest, a hobby, and then comment on that in a favorable way. Oh, you like fishing, man, and if I knew anything about fishing, I'd make some comments about fishing. If I saw like a fishing pole in the, like you're like kind of like a spy. You're looking around and you see like a fishing pole, then you start talking, So anyway, so the first part is gaining rapport, however you do it. I know that's going to be different in the sales letter. And then you gain their confidence and you ask for the sale, and you give them a reason to buy and you ask for the sale. So I look at it kind of the same way, but using bullet points, you don't have the immediate feedback from the person you're selling to. Mm-hmm. So that's like the big thing that's different. You have to do you have to research your target market differently. I can just walk into a house and I'm researching when I'm talking, and I can change my next sentence based on their last sentence. Mm-hmm. So copywriter doesn't have that ability to do. But anyway, that's a long answer to your question.
Well, no, that's a great answer, because like we do those same things that you do, we do it in copy. Right. And you're exactly right. The biggest challenge with copy is that you don't get to adapt like you could in person.
Right.
You have to know who you're writing for and what they're thinking, and join that conversation and build rapport with them without actually being in person.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and the sales letter does that right off the bat with the headline. Yes, your horoscope was right. So right there, just right there. So we know our person is interested in the horoscope, and like, yes, we confirm that your belief, your horoscope is true, and you're making a lot of money. Mm-hmm. I found this sales letter in Clickbank. I don't know if you use Clickbank or have heard of it.
I've heard of it. That's all though.
Right. Yeah. So I found this letter in Clickbank, and it's in the spirituality section, but the product that's actually being sold here is actually more like a financial product, which I thought was interesting. So it's like you're taking a financial product, and then, like, I guess to target a female demographic, a more female demographic, you channel it through the spirituality niche. Okay. And so to do that, you have to build rapport with your audience, obviously. And so you do that right away with the headline. You have your thing right there. And then right here, you call your prospect a fellow spiritual being, just further confirming those beliefs. And honestly, like this whole first page is what I call a flash roll. I got that idea from Oren Claff, but really it's the idea of building rapport with your audience. It's the same thing that you would do when you go in your prospect's house and you comment on the new marble kitchen, right? Right. It's the exact same thing. So by calling the person a spiritual being, saying I have a message for you, the eternal source of truth, all those little things that you can say to let your audience know that we have the same kind of thought patterns here. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you do that in the headline and the lead. This sales letter is unique. Like it doesn't really follow a sales structure that I'm familiar with. It's just doing a whole different things. Yeah. Let's see. One thing that I noticed that stood out for me, I don't know if you saw the video from last week, but we briefly went over the idea of the hero's journey,
Okay.
and how like when you're writing sales copy, you want to meet your prospect wherever they are in their journey and then help them to the next level. Right.
Okay.
And so for this sales letter, our target is women. And I don't know how, there's a concept in literature called the heroine's journey, right? So it's the female version of the hero's journey. And I
Okay.
feel like maybe it's unconscious, maybe it's conscious, but
How is that different from the hero's journey?
right, good question. So the hero's journey is, I guess, on the surface they're the same thing, right? It's
Okay.
people going through challenges to become better versions of themselves, right? That's what both of these are. But the way that they go about it is a little bit different.
Okay.
So with the hero's journey, because it's male oriented, it's focused on the hero going out
Okay.
and addressing the world and like
Okay.
challenges out in the world, and and conquering them, and then coming back to his village or whatever.
Right. He comes back with a prize, and he comes back as a changed man.
Exactly, right?
Okay.
With the heroine's journey, that process happens more internally, right?
Okay.
So the process of becoming a better man, or I guess a better heroine, it doesn't. Yes, as a heroine, you do go out, but the process of change is internal.
Okay.
Right.
So I think in a hero's journey, my understanding is that the hero changes internally also. But I think if I'm listening to you, hearing you correctly, in the heroine's journey, we're focusing more on the internal struggle, even though they're both elements exist in the hero's journey and the heroine's journey, but you're more focused on the internal struggle in the female version. Is that what you're saying?
That's it, man.
Okay.
All right. And so we have the elements of the heroine's journey here. And for this sales letter, I think the guru focuses mostly on the first 4 elements of the heroine's journey, like the first 4 parts.
Okay.
So you start off in the perfect world.
Okay.
And in the perfect world, in the heroine's journey, that's basically, I guess, like your ideal childhood, right? It's like you grow up thinking that the world is a certain way, and that if you do a certain thing, then everything will work out.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You grow up with those beliefs, and you operate within that system for as long as you can get away with it. And some people just stay there their entire lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the people reading this letter are likely more disillusioned, right? So they realize, like, some event happened in their life, and they realize that, all those stuff I believed earlier, all those things I believed earlier, it's not what it seems.
Okay.
They start to awaken, go into the descent, and the product is the support element. So if you read like literature, like novel building books, like fiction writing books.
Okay. I read a couple of them. I read what was it? The one by Stephen King.
Yeah, on writing.
And Nobody Wants to Read Your Shit by Stephen Pressfield. Yep. I read that one as well, and a couple others.
Yeah, man. So like, you can get good ideas from anywhere. And so if you read some more fiction writing books, they say that this part, the support part of the heroine's journey, can happen at any point. And or what I see in the sales letter is like, he starts with the perfect world, describes his disillusionment, talks about his awakening, and then talks about how he got support. And then right before we get to the descent, he like offers his product, right? And so I'll show you how that works in here. Blah, 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 blah. First, this copy was also pretty confusing just because of all the different things that they're talking about. right? So this copy does a lot of good things, and it does a lot of weird things.
Okay.
A lot of things that aren't so effective. Like this whole section here, like you are dreaming. Like if you read the copy, for me, it didn't make a lot of sense. But it does make a really big promise that it equates your waking life to your dreaming life. So you have the same kind of limitless power and control that you have in your dreams. You have access to that in your waking life.
Right.
And this is going to teach you how to do it. Something cool that I saw, if you follow some other marketing gurus, like there's this one guy, like he's called Peng Yun. And he tells about how in his sales copy, even if he's selling a financial product, he'll still mention the benefits that that financial product will have to your health and to your relationships, because those are the things that people will really care about the most. They care about their health so they can enjoy a substantial life. They care about their wealth so that they have the freedom to enjoy that long life. And then they care about the relationships that they have to share all their bounty with, right?
So it's health, relationships, and financial and money?
Right. So
those are three. Okay.
So whenever Ping Jun writes copy, he finds some way to make some kind of promise that focuses on each one of those elements, no matter the product. No matter the product, there's always one thing that can help increase each one of those. All right. And so the big promise of this whole sales letter is that earning money is as easy, as simple as wishing on a star, or as, you know, thinking about it in a dream.
Okay.
And then
that hasn't been my experience, but okay.
Right. But this guy explains how it's happened for him with his version of the hero's journey. And it starts right here, right? So we start off, his perfect world, he describes his childhood, right? We're right here. He talks about how he dreamed of going to Disney as a child, but his family was just super broke. And so it's not the ideal childhood. So the perfect world doesn't mean that you have the ideal situation, right? It's wherever you are when you're developing those limiting beliefs that keep you stuck, right?
It's written for an American audience?
Yes.
Okay. Just the word whilst stuck out.
Oh yeah? Whilst.
Yeah. So I bet he sounds like a Brit. Sounds like a Brit or something. Yeah.
Oh, let's see. I feel like an outsider. So during his perfect world situation, he's developing all these limiting beliefs, like other people are just lucky. You know, he feels like an outsider. That's just the way it is. Some people have a lot, some people don't. Right. And he gets stuck in that cycle, follows the same pattern. Right. And then he goes into his working life and becomes disillusioned. Right. So he's finding all these difficulties. He's like, his bills are stacking up. He's like barely making enough to get by. And then he has a huge event, right? He gets in a car crash. Right? And this is where he's awakened, right? Because he almost died in that car crash. And I guess he was clinically dead for 10 minutes. And while he was there, he had this like out of body experience. And it helped him realize some things. And that was the catalyst for his awakening. Right? And he describes that process here. And I think, like, of course, he's doing all this because this is, the guru is supposed to be kind of the avatar for his prospect, right? So he's telling his story because it's going to be similar to his prospect story.
Right.
Right. So as the prospect is reading, she or he is empathizing and going through his journey with him. Right. And then he gets support from a friend as he goes through his descent.
Okay.
And then all his wildest dreams start coming true.
Okay. Okay.
And that's the story. And he supports his story with, I guess, with quotes from Michio Kaku, like the astrophysicist, which is kind of
I'm familiar with him, actually. I've heard him speak, actually. I'm not on podcast, but yeah.
Yeah. Of course, really smart guy. A lot of interesting ideas, and they do lend themselves to this kind of copy, to this subject matter, because there's a string theory, which is about the vibrations of energies in the universe, is pretty much what this is.
Okay.
Let's see. And then we get into more like traditional copy elements. Like in this part, he talks about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind and how your subconscious mind is sabotaging you. And so if you read the 16-word sales letter, or if you read any like health copy, what's really common in health copy is that they'll bring up a problem, then offer a new solution. So in this copy, the big problem is that your subconscious is holding you back, keeping you from achieving all your dreams.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the new hope, the new solution, is this new vibrational meditation that will correct your subconscious and realign it for more positive outcomes. So you're not sabotaging yourself. And that's really all it is, man.
How do you know how well this sales letter is doing?
I don't know. Oh, I mean, I have an idea. So on Clickbank, it's in the spirituality niche, it's the third most popular. It has a gravity of like about 90.
Okay.
Yeah. And like what gravity means is like how many affiliates are making sales through this sales letter. So it's like about 90 people a day, when like a big gravity for a product is like 150. So like this isn't like a smash hit, but it's definitely doing solid numbers, you know?
Okay. Okay. And what do you think of the sales letter overall?
Overall, I think it's really long and really confusing. Like, I'm definitely not the target demographic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like it's difficult. It's difficult to get through unless you really want to get through it.
Yeah. I find that with a lot of copy that's, you know, kind of like average copy, not the copy written by the gurus and stuff. There's a lot of you know, they don't omit the unnecessary words, you know, like in the Strunk and White book. And to compare it to what I have experience with is face-to-face and over the phone sales, is I know when to skip over a section or truncate part of my, you know, my sales process, because the client is, once the client is warmed up, I don't need to keep warming them up. Right? Mm-hmm. So I can move right into describing the product. And if I've described the product and I can see or I can feel that they're ready to buy, I just go right into the close. And I think it probably is good in copy to go a little bit longer than like the average person needs. But sometimes it's just like you're in this warm-up phase like forever. It's like, you know, let's move on. But it's just like I was saying before, not getting that immediate feedback, and you kind of have to go after, I guess, the lowest common denominator and overdo every phase of the sales process. But sometimes it's too much. It's just like, well, you want to overdone by 4 times when you maybe should have overdone by 2 times.
Right. Yeah. And so there is a lot of this in that letter.
Yeah.
A lot of just like unnecessary parts. But you're right, because we are not in control of the sales process.
Right.
Like a conversation where I have some influence of where it goes. Like you kind of need it.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
All right, man. But do you have any more questions? We're at 30 minutes, so we're gonna, wrap this thing up. But do you have any questions or concerns?
No. I'm glad I was able to be on, on the call for the first time, and wish you Merry Christmas. Everybody watching who celebrates Christmas, Merry Christmas, or whatever holiday you celebrate, or just enjoy some time off, whatever it is. That's all I got.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming out. Merry Christmas to you also.
All right, thank you.
You sell insurance, right?
Yeah. I sell insurance. I'm in the Medicare niche.
Medicare. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Like, I guess, because you're very familiar with the sales process in general, right? So what do you think that this copy does well in terms of the sales process?
Well, it probably does a good job of connecting with people in a way that they haven't been connected with before. It's kind of like, I'm much older than you, and I remember when Bill Cosby would come on TV, or Diane Carroll would come on TV. Every Black person would, when they first came on, you'd like call people and knock on the door and say, hey, there's a Black person on TV, and like, so you have a niche that hasn't been spoken to before. I'm assuming this is an assumption. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be done well if it's the only piece of copy that addresses this group. That makes, so the strategy may be better than the copy is, and that could be why it works. I guess I'm not making sense.
Okay.
But I think that if this group hasn't been spoken to before, then that's the reason why. That might be the reason why this copy is doing as well as it has.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I think it does a really good job of identifying and then speaking directly to the target audience.
Okay.
And it can just, like it gives that target reader everything that he or she is looking for, right? That feeling of feeling special and unique,
right?
That feeling of being understood, that the promise of control over your life, and an easy way to achieve that control. So yeah, I agree with you there, man. Like it definitely does a good job of identifying a target audience and then
and speaking their language and trying to gain rapport. I just think that phase goes on for way too long.
All right, man. But thanks for your time. Have a Merry Christmas, and I hope to see you next week, Austin.
Okay. All right.
And hit me on Facebook, man. Like let's be friends.
Yeah. All right.
All right, dude. Take care.
Take care.